Let's walk through our Q4 growth projections and client retention.
I don't even understand how she got this job. She's been terrible since day one. These people just act like they have no...
Lena, you're not muted.
The moment that destroyed her entire life did not come with a warning. It came quietly, hidden behind a small gray icon on a Zoom screen, a microphone she believed was muted, but wasn't. Before we go further, I want to know something. Where are you watching from right now? Drop it in your mind as you read. And if you enjoy stories that keep you glued like this, make sure you follow or subscribe, because this one, it only gets worse from here. Her name was Lena Howard, 32 years old, senior product analyst at a fast-growing tech company based in San Francisco, a company known for big money, long hours, and even bigger egos. Lena was earning just over $200,000 a year, including bonuses. To outsiders, she had made it. Nice apartment, good salary, respectable title. But inside, things were not what they seemed. Lena was not happy. She felt overlooked, she felt ignored, and most of all, she felt resentful, especially toward one person, the CEO. Her name was Nadia Okoye. Nadia was everything Lena wasn't: calm, focused, and in control. She had taken over the company 2 years earlier and quickly became known for being sharp, direct, and impossible to impress. She was also one of the very few black female CEOs in that space. And that bothered Lena more than she would ever admit out loud. At least, not intentionally. It was a Monday morning, 9:00 a.m., the weekly all-hands Zoom meeting. Over 60 employees joined the call. Cameras on, faces lined up in small squares, some alert, some tired, some pretending to pay attention. Lena joined late, hair slightly messy, coffee in hand, camera off. She didn't even try to hide her lack of interest. Same boring update again, she muttered under her breath. She clicked what she believed was the mute button, or at least, she thought she did. On her screen, the microphone icon looked gray. Muted. Safe. Invisible. The meeting started. Nadia appeared at the center of the screen, calm as always. She began speaking about company growth, new clients, and future plans. Her voice was steady, controlled, professional. But Lena wasn't listening. She leaned back in her chair, rolled her eyes, and let her frustration spill out. "I don't even understand how an underscore got this job," Lena said, her voice filled with irritation. "She has been terrible at it since day one, and no one seems to care." She laughed lightly. A careless, dismissive laugh. The kind you make when you think no one else can hear you. But someone did. Actually, everyone did. At first, there was confusion. A few employees frowned. Some looked around, trying to figure out where the voice came from. Then came the moment that froze everything. A voice cut through the silence. It was Jason Reed, a junior developer. His tone was sharp, urgent. "Lena, you're not muted." Time stopped. Lena's heart dropped. She looked at her screen. Her microphone icon. Bright. Active. Unmuted. Her words had gone out to all 60 people on that call, including Nadia. For a second, nobody spoke. The meeting went completely silent. No typing, no coughing, no background noise. Just silence. Heavy silence. The kind that presses down on your chest. Lena's hands started shaking. She quickly hit the mute button. Too late. Way too late. Nadia did not react immediately. She simply stared at the screen. Her face showed nothing. No anger, no shock. Just stillness. And that was somehow worse, because no one could read what she was thinking. Lena's mind was racing. Maybe they didn't hear it clearly. Maybe the audio cut out. Maybe. No. She knew. Everyone heard. Every word. A few faces disappeared from the screen. Cameras turned off. Others looked away. Some stared directly into their screens, frozen. And then Nadia spoke. Calm. Slow. Controlled. "Let's take a 5-minute break," she said. "Please stay on the call." That was all. No yelling, no confrontation, just that. Lena felt cold. Her stomach tightened. Her career, her reputation, everything she had built was now hanging by a thread. And deep down, she knew something else. This was not just a mistake. This was something bigger. Something that could not be undone. Her phone buzzed, then buzzed again. And again. Messages were already coming in. From coworkers, from managers, from people she barely spoke to. But Lena didn't open them. She couldn't. Because she already knew what they said. Across the screen, Nadia remained still, watching, thinking, waiting. And in that moment, everyone on that call understood one thing. This wasn't just an awkward slip. This was about to become something much worse. Something that would not stay inside that Zoom call. Something that would spread. Fast. Lena had no idea that within the next 24 hours, her $200,000 job would be gone. Her name would be circulating in group chats. And the one sentence she thought was private would become the reason her entire life changed. If you think this is already bad, you haven't seen what happens next. The 5-minute break felt longer than anything Lena had ever experienced. She didn't move. She didn't breathe properly. Her eyes stayed locked on the screen, but she wasn't seeing anything. Her mind kept replaying what she had said, every word, every tone, every second. There was no way to take it back, no way to explain it, no way to pretend it didn't happen. Her phone kept buzzing. Again, again, again. She finally picked it up. The first message was from Pioneer, someone from her team. Did you just say that? Another message followed immediately, from Oliver Grant. Lena, you need to fix this, now. Then another, from someone she barely knew. That was out of line. She scrolled faster. The messages kept coming. Short, direct, cold. No one was defending her. Not a single person. Her chest tightened. She wanted to reply, to explain, to say she didn't mean it. But the truth sat heavy in her stomach. She did mean it. She had said what she really thought. She just never expected anyone to hear it. The Zoom screen came back to life. Break over. People returned, but something had changed. No one was relaxed anymore. No small smiles. No casual expressions. Just tension. Thick tension. Nadia came back on screen. Same calm face. Same steady posture. But the air around her felt different now. Stronger. Sharper. More serious. Thank you for staying, Nadia said. Her voice was controlled, professional. But there was weight behind it now. The kind that makes people sit up straight. The kind that makes you listen. We're going to continue with the meeting, she added. That was it. No mention of what just happened. No calling Lena out. Nothing. And somehow, that made it worse. Lena felt exposed. Like every person on that call was looking at her. Even though most cameras were off, she knew. They all knew. The meeting went on. Slides were presented. Updates were shared. But no one was really paying attention. Everyone was thinking about the same thing. What Lena said. And what would happen next. Lena sat frozen. She didn't speak. Didn't type. Didn't move. Her camera stayed off. Her microphone stayed muted. But this time, she checked it over and over again. Every few seconds. Just to be sure. 20 minutes later, the meeting ended. No closing remarks. No team energy. Just a quiet, uncomfortable end. People left quickly, one by one, until only a few names remained. Then none. The moment the call ended, Lena felt it. The silence in her apartment. Heavy, loud, unforgiving. Her laptop chimed. A new message. From HR. Subject line. Urgent, meeting request. Her stomach dropped. She didn't need to open it to know what it was about. But she did anyway. Hey, Lena, we need to speak with you regarding an incident that occurred during this morning's meeting. Please join the call at 11 o'clock a.m. Attendance is required. Her hands started shaking again. 11 o'clock a.m. Less than 2 hours away. She stood up, walked around her apartment, then sat down, then stood up again. Her mind kept searching for a way out, an explanation, a defense, something, anything. I didn't mean it like that. She said it out loud, but even as she spoke, it sounded weak, unconvincing, because she knew that wasn't true. Another message came in, this time from Ethan Cole, her direct manager. We need to talk before your HR meeting. Her heart raced. This was happening faster than she expected. They jumped on a quick call. Ethan's face appeared on the screen. He didn't smile, didn't greet her the way he usually did. He just looked disappointed. "What happened, Lena?" he asked. Simple question, but heavy. Lena swallowed. "I thought I was muted." The moment the words came out, she knew how it sounded. Not like an apology, not like regret, just an excuse. Ethan leaned back slightly. "That's not what I asked." Silence. Lena's eyes dropped. She had nothing else to say. Ethan took a slow breath. "You understand how serious this is, right?" His voice was calm, but firm. She nodded, even though he could see her, even though she knew he needed words. "Yes," she said quietly. Ethan looked at her for a moment, then spoke again. "HR is already involved. Nadia is aware. This isn't something I can fix." Those words hit hard. This isn't something I can fix. Lena had always believed that her performance would protect her. She hit her targets, delivered results, worked late, stayed sharp. But now, none of that mattered. "This goes beyond work," Ethan continued. "What you said, it affects the entire company." Lena felt her throat tighten. She wanted to defend herself, to say others complained too, that people talked behind the scenes all the time, but no one else said it out loud. No one else said it on a live call. "You need to be honest in that HR meeting," Ethan said. "Don't try to minimize it." Lena nodded again, still silent. The call ended quickly. No encouragement, no reassurance, just over. Lena sat there, alone, waiting. 11 o'clock a.m. came faster than she expected. She clicked the link, her hands cold, her breathing uneven. 3 people were already on the call: HR representative, legal advisor, and Nadia. Lena's heart dropped the moment she saw her. Nadia looked exactly the same as she did earlier, calm, still, focused. "Good morning, Lena," the HR rep said. Her voice was polite, but distant. "Morning," Lena replied. Her voice almost broke. "We're here to discuss the statement made during this morning's all-hands meeting," the HR rep continued. Statement. That's what they called it. Not a mistake, not a slip, a statement. "Before we proceed, do you acknowledge that the comment was made from your account?" Lena hesitated, just for a second. Then, yes. The room felt colder. "Would you like to explain the context of your comment?" This was it. Her chance. To explain. To save herself. But the words didn't come, because every explanation sounded like a lie. Or worse, like an excuse. I thought I was muted," she said again. Silence. Nadia spoke for the first time. Her voice was steady, clear, and direct. "That explains how we heard it," she said. "It doesn't explain why you said it." Lena froze. There was nowhere left to hide now. And deep down, she knew. This meeting was not about understanding. It was about consequences. What Lena didn't realize yet was that this situation had already moved beyond that room, beyond HR, beyond the company, because someone had recorded that moment, and they had already started sharing it. If you think this is where it ends, you're wrong, because the internet was just getting started. The meeting had not even ended, and the damage was already spreading. Not inside the company, outside, where Lena had no control. While Lena sat in that HR call, trying to find words that didn't sound like excuses, someone else had already made a decision. They hit record, and then send, It started small, a short clip, barely 20 seconds, just enough to show Lena's face icon, her voice, and the exact moment she said it. No context, no explanation, just the words. "I don't even understand how an underscore got this job. She has been terrible at it since day one and no one seems to care." Then Jason's voice cutting in. "She is not muted." That was all it took. The video landed in a private group chat. Then another. Then another. Each time, someone added a short message. "Did you hear this? This is crazy. Is this real?" Within an hour, it moved beyond private chats. Someone posted it publicly. No name at first, just the clip. People started reacting. Fast. "Who is she? Which company is this? That's wild." Then someone recognized the Zoom layout. Another person recognized Nadia. And once her name was mentioned, everything changed. Because Nadia was not just a CEO. She was known, respected, followed. And now, people were watching a clip of someone from her own company saying that. The comments turned quickly, from curiosity to anger. This is exactly the problem. Imagine saying that on a work call. She thought no one would hear her. Then came the next step. Someone found Lena's name. It didn't take long. People started digging. LinkedIn, company website, old conference pages, team listings. And there it was. Her name, her role, her face. Now the clip had a target. Within hours, Lena was no longer just someone on Zoom. She was identified, tagged, shared. Her LinkedIn profile started getting views. Hundreds, then thousands. Messages started coming in. Not from coworkers, from strangers. "You should be fired. This is who you really are." Disgusting. Lena didn't see any of it yet. She was still in the HR meeting, still trying to answer questions, still thinking this was something contained. She had no idea. It had already escaped. Back in the meeting, the HR rep continued. "We take this matter seriously," she said. "We are reviewing the situation fully." Lena nodded. Her mind wasn't fully there anymore. Something felt off, like things were moving faster than they should. Her phone buzzed again, and again, and again. Stronger this time. Non-stop. The legal advisor spoke next. "We also need to inform you that the incident may have external impact on the company." External. That word hit differently. Lena frowned slightly. "What do you mean?" she asked. No one answered immediately. Nadia looked at her. Calm, steady. "It's already being shared," she said. Lena's stomach dropped. "What?" she whispered. Nadia didn't repeat herself. She didn't need to. The HR rep continued. "We are monitoring the situation." Monitoring. Another word that felt controlled. But behind it, something bigger was happening. Lena quickly picked up her phone, her hands shaking. She opened her messages. Hundreds, missed calls, notifications she had never seen before. Then she opened social media. And there it was. Her voice, her words, her mistake. Playing on repeat. Thousands of views, comments flooding in. Her name written in posts she didn't even make. Her chest tightened. Her breathing became uneven. "No, no, no, no," she whispered under her breath. This was not supposed to happen. This was a private meeting. Internal. But now, it wasn't. And the worst part? People were not asking for context. They didn't care about explanations. They didn't care that she thought she was muted. All they heard was what she said. And for them, that was enough. Back in the meeting, Lena looked up, her face pale. "I didn't know it was recorded," she said. The legal advisor responded immediately. "Company meetings may be recorded." Simple, cold, final. Lena felt trapped. Because now this wasn't just about HR or company policy. This was public, permanent, uncontrollable. Nadia leaned slightly forward, her voice calm, but firm. "Lena, This is bigger than you now. Those words hit harder than anything else. Because they were true. Lena was no longer in control of her story. Other people were telling it, sharing it, judging it. And every minute, it was spreading further. Back online, the video kept moving. From platform to platform. From group to group. People started tagging the company, calling for action, demanding a response. What is the company doing about this? Is she still employed? This needs consequences. The pressure was building, fast. Inside the company, leadership was already talking. Crisis calls, emergency meetings, PR discussions. Because this was no longer just about one employee. This was about the company's image, its values, its reputation. And the clock was ticking. Back in the HR meeting, the tone shifted. Lena, the HR rep said, given the nature of the situation, we will be placing you on immediate administrative leave while we complete our review. Administrative leave. It sounded temporary. But Lena knew what it meant. This was the beginning of the end. Her voice shook. So, what happens next? Silence. Then Nadia answered, we make a decision. Simple, direct, no emotion. And at that moment, Lena finally understood something. This was not about explaining anymore. It was about consequences. And outside that room, the world was already deciding hers. If you think losing her job is the worst thing that happens, it's not. Because what came next followed her long after that company was gone. The administrative leave was immediate. Lena closed her laptop with shaking hands, feeling the cold weight of reality settle on her chest. The apartment that had once felt safe now felt like a cage. Every notification made her heart race. Every buzz felt like judgment. Every ding of her phone was another reminder the world was watching. She sat in silence, staring at the wall, trying to convince herself that this was temporary, that HR would call back, that people would understand, that Nadia might forgive, but deep down she knew it was over. Within hours, the video had gone viral outside the company. On LinkedIn, someone had reposted it with a caption. Tech employee caught saying horrible things about her CEO during Zoom meeting. Absolutely shocking. The post exploded. Comments poured in, not just criticizing her, but attacking. Some were blunt. She needs to be fired immediately. Unbelievable. How can someone like this work in tech? This is what entitlement looks like. Lena's phone wouldn't stop. She didn't even have time to scroll. Her anxiety made it impossible. Each alert felt like a punch. By the end of the day, her phone was flooded with hundreds of notifications, TMs from strangers, emails from recruiters she didn't know, messages from old colleagues. Some were sympathetic, but most weren't. The tone was clear. Judgment, ridicule, and disbelief. Even former friends reached out. Their messages carefully polite, yet distant. Heard what happened. No one wanted to get too close. No one wanted the fallout to touch them. Meanwhile, inside the company, the news had spread like wildfire. Leadership held emergency meetings to discuss PR strategy. PR consultants called in. The legal team drafted statements. The board of directors demanded action. Lena's name was being spoken across conference calls, in whispered tones, in messages that went out company-wide. Employees avoided her. Cameras went off when she appeared in calls she thought she was muted in, and some even joked quietly, but just loudly enough to make sure she could hear that she had learned the hard way. 2 days later, Lena received the official notice. Her $200,000 job, which had been the cornerstone of her career, was terminated. The letter was formal, clinical, and devoid of emotion. Due to conduct that is inconsistent with company values, your employment is terminated effective immediately. You will receive final compensation in accordance with company policy. We wish you success in your future endeavors. Lena stared at the letter, shaking. She read it over and over, hoping the words would change. They didn't. They couldn't. Her career in that company, in that city, in that industry was over. At least for now. The public fallout didn't stop there. News outlets began picking up the story. Tech blogs, business news, local papers, it spread. Social media dissected her every word, her tone, her mistake. Headlines didn't focus on the context of a mistake or the fact she thought she was muted. They focused on her words and the racial undertones of what she had said. On Twitter, threads exploded with thousands of comments. People debated, criticized, and shared clips over and over. Lena became the embodiment of a cautionary tale, someone who let anger and prejudice slip in the most visible way possible. Emails kept coming. Job recruiters who might have once been interested now avoided her. Companies that she had once admired closed their doors for her. Even networking groups in tech didn't respond to her requests. It wasn't just professional. The personal toll was brutal. Friends she had trusted started avoiding her. Some stopped responding entirely. Invitations disappeared. Social events she would have once attended were now off limits. People whispered behind her back when she walked by. Lena tried to reach out to her old colleagues, hoping for support. A few were sympathetic, but none were willing to publicly defend her. The fear of association with someone under fire kept them quiet. Even online, her attempts to explain were crushed. She tried writing posts explaining the context. She thought she was muted. She didn't intend to be heard. But the internet had already decided. Context didn't matter. Her words were permanent. Her mistake was now a public scar. The emotional weight became almost unbearable. Anxiety gripped her mornings. Sleep escaped her nights. Panic attacks came without warning. Every time she heard a notification, her heart raced, expecting the world to shout at her again. One evening, Lena finally broke down in her apartment. She sat on the floor, knees to chest, sobbing. The apartment that had once been her sanctuary was now filled with shadows. She felt isolated, humiliated, and desperate. And yet, somewhere in the middle of that despair, a small spark of awareness flickered. She knew she had made a huge mistake, one that couldn't be undone, one that had real consequences, but she also knew she couldn't let it destroy the rest of her life. The weeks that followed were hard. She sought therapy to deal with anxiety and shame. She slowly started to accept what happened, though she would never forget it. She blocked notifications. She deleted accounts. She stayed away from social media. Step by step, Lena began to regain some control. She learned about the permanent consequences of words in the digital age, about how quickly anger and bias can ruin careers, and about the importance of accountability. She also learned something else. People could be unforgiving, but she had to forgive herself first. The journey would be long, but it was the only way forward. Months later, Lena quietly started a new chapter, not in Silicon Valley, not in the same industry, but somewhere she could rebuild her life, her career, and her reputation, carefully, deliberately, and with awareness of the weight of her past words. She knew the mistake would follow her forever. A viral clip, a cautionary tale, a name whispered online. But she also knew that she could survive it. She could grow. She could learn. And she could rebuild. The story of Lena Howard is a warning for anyone who thinks a Zoom call is private. Words are powerful. Actions have consequences. And in a world where every moment can be recorded and shared, a single careless comment can change everything. But it's also a story of survival, of learning, of facing shame and finding a way forward even when the world seems determined to stop you. Lena lost a job, her comfort, her reputation, but she didn't lose herself. And that, in the end, was the only thing she could take forward.